What's going on, folks? Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel and to part 2 of this past week's MMO news drop. Let's get straight into the good stuff, beginning with Black Desert Online. Surprisingly, BDO's Battle Royale mode, the Shadow Arena, will be shutting down on the 10th of April. In a statement on the BDO website, the devs mentioned that the reason for shutting down the Shadow Arena only months after its release is due to the fact that more development time was being taken away from the core BDO game in favor of the Battle Royale, and they'd rather just focus on the core game, which is fair enough. Although the unspoken reason could also probably be down to revenue and profits. Let's face it, the model that BDO is structured around involves players spending money, and the Shadow Arena doesn't leverage that as a free mode where everyone is on equal footing. So more development focus with nothing in return doesn't make sense money-wise to Pearl Abyss, one might argue. Another reason we suspect that wasn't mentioned, of course, was the insane amount of hacking cases within the mode itself, which caused BDO to unfortunately wrongly ban legitimate players caught amongst those who are guilty. Well, that's that then. I did have some fun with the Shadow Arena when it first came out. If I was ever going to play a Battle Royale, for me at least, it had to preferably be fantasy and had a good combat system, which it does. And even better, the Shadow Arena was as balanced a PvP mode, hacking aside, that you could ever hope to get in Black Desert Online. The way Pearl Abyss used it to give away the core game for free was also a clever marketing touch, and I guess there will be some players that will miss the mode for sure. But good on them for sorting out their priorities though. Ashes of Creation, take notes. Righto, Final Fantasy XIV. FF14 is having a sort of a welcome back week event. It started on the 8th of April, and for players who've previously purchased Final Fantasy XIV and have an inactive account for at least 30 days prior to this campaign, you can now come back and play for free for 7 whole days. That's up to 168 hours, folks, and now's a better time than ever to return to the game, as the new Shadowbringers expansion is coming very soon. Plus, there are buffs like the Road to 60, for example, that'll help you catch up to where your old guildies are or where your old friends are. So be sure to take advantage of this promo campaign, and if you are on the Japanese data center, I might even bump into you. Alrighty, let's talk about World of Warcraft Classic some, and we've got some news about how PvP will work once Classic launches in the summer. We already know that WoW Classic will roll out in 6 phases like how it used to be. So don't expect a formal PvP system when it launches with Phase 1. That means players are free to feed on their bloodlust and go kill anyone, other players and NPCs alike, as there won't be any dishonorable kills until the honor system is introduced in Phase 2. That also means there won't be any tracking or rewards for doing so, but that won't stop anyone, I'm quite sure. When Phase 3 rolls around, players will gain access to the Alterac Valley and Warsong, and Arathi Basin arrives in Phase 4. And finally, World PvP objectives in Silithus and the Eastern Plaguelands will be out in Phase 6. More details about WoW Classic's PvP will be released to us the closer we are to launch, so hang on tight. And yup, I'll be there for launch, and I gotta be honest, I'm not quite sure what my experience will be as I've never played WoW when it launched, but I'm sure as hell looking forward to it. Okay, let's now talk about a brand new MMORPG, shall we? This past week, a new open world sandbox MMO has hit the crowdfunding site Kickstarter, and it's called Oath. While you're watching the trailer on screen right now, keep this in mind. Everything that you see could be changed should the project be successfully funded. So here's the description of what Oath is. It's a free-to-play PvE-focused MMO with dungeons, raids, and PvP, and the game wants to be community-focused. Besides open-world PvP, expect to see arena modes including 1v1s, 2v2s, and CTF. There are more features that have been explained in depth on the Kickstarter page itself, which I will link below. These include horizontal progression for characters with multiple skill trees and talent trees, a guild system, trading systems, crafting, and all of this takes place in the fantasy Oath universe called Eternia, which does have its own lore fleshed out and everything, which is quite an interesting read on the page. In the combat department, I kinda like the look of it if I can get over how kiddie the character models are, but I don't mind the art style and graphics so much. More importantly though, Oath will have a Holy Trinity system, so expect tanking, heals, and DPS. There are 7 classes announced with more planned later. So how much are they looking for? The game wants $35,000 in funding, and at time of recording this video, they've already gotten close to $5,000 with about 20 days to go for the campaign. Early launch is expected by December 2019, and the cheapest pledge you can get costs about $15. So check it out if you are interested. And last but not least, to wrap up this news drop, remember Conqueror's Blade? That Total War mashed with For Honor MMO that lets you combat other players for territory control in large castle sieges where you play as your lord commanding an army of troops in third-person RPG style? Well, it's having a free weekend where everyone can download the game from my.com to check the game out alongside those who can play it on the floor at TwitchCon Europe happening this weekend. So that's Friday, April 12th until Monday the 15th. Make note of the date if you do want to check this game out. Now, I actually have a Founders Pack and a closed beta access which I've used earlier in the year, and my impressions haven't changed at all after jumping back in recently to see the new additions. The whole concept of the game is interesting, as I do enjoy the grand scale warfare, but everything else feels kinda off. The combat system is still stiff as hell, and the tacked on RPG portion with questing to achieve power and money and gear isn't fleshed out or interesting at all, leaving the only good thing about it, for me at least, was the hectic large-scale PvP battles. Anyway, go give it a look this weekend if you want to try something that's unique and not your average theme park MMO. And that's all I've got for part 2 of this past weekend's news drop, folks. Stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll keep you guys updated with another news drop in the near future. Hit the like button if you enjoy the content, and feel free to subscribe to the channel and get notified on all my latest uploads. I do appreciate the support, you guys. Once again, I'm Adrian, and I thank you for watching.